was going to have to go after Sue, so this is really hard because she already made me cry. I have been given the pleasure of introducing Danny to all of you this evening. He's been a role model and an inspiration to my life. And honoring him like this is an opportunity, and I'd like to share some moments with you guys. My earliest memory of Danny is the family minus. And I should just leave it at that, but I won't, because you all need to know what a great person he was from his early age. When I was really young, and I still wet the bed, I would wake up in the middle of the night, take my clothes off, grab my family minus book, and go to Danny. Surprisingly, he would open up the covers, read me the book, and let me stay in his bed because it was dry.
That's not the only reason.
I'm not worried about telling that story in this time and age. I have children of my own. If they came into my room like that, I'd be like, go right back. You're not taking take a towel, put it over your wet spot. He never turned me away. And actually, a few years ago, he found a book, which I couldn't find ever. Throughout my childhood and Danny's childhood, other memories included baseball games, church lady from the Saturday Night Live that we always did skits from, him scaring the crap out of me during Amityville Horror,
I know that story.
which I'm not going to elaborate on, but most of you know this story because he loves to tell it. I also remember the need that Danny felt to become shirtless when Bridget and I were having friends over the house. Thankfully, I was going to say, thankfully this has changed throughout the years, and he doesn't do that anymore around the pool. Another memory that really sticks out to me is Nana when we got you to come to one of his football games, and then what happened? You got hit. Daddy jumped the fence. The quickest I've ever seen Daddy move, and Danny got taken away in an ambulance. The thing that I vaguely remember during these times is that Danny showed any signs of being sick. I remember the first incident was something that happened in the locker room after football. I don't even remember if it was practice or a game. I kind of remember the word ulcer being talked about, but in our house, you had to suck it up. That was it. Deal with it, suck it up, be a man. I don't think anybody believed he was really sick. As we got older, we went to college. We were doing our own thing. We'd see each other on holidays or in summers out in Seaside. Dancing on the bar at the Bamboo, I don't think that we really much talked about his health. So I just thought all was good. The first time I remember being concerned about him was when I took him for a colonoscopy. I remember the doctor saying, there's 1 in a million chance you can get pancreatitis. It was Danny's lucky day.
Sort of like today when it snowed for the first time. 1987.
When he called me and needed to go to the hospital, you know, I was 7 months pregnant with twins, so I looked like I was 10 months pregnant with one child. And we walked in and everybody looked at me like, oh my God, this girl's gonna drop a baby. Until Danny started to moan. And I think I remember when the nurse asked you what your pain was on a scale of 1 to 10. Would you say 20?
35.
That's when I realized that his illness was serious. At that time, we were led down a road with many memories of trips to UPenn, fun hospital days, playing Uno, or eating graham crackers, drinking apple juice or Shasta. Although they weren't the best circumstances, I was really glad to just have that time with Danny. A lot of it was just Danny and I. When he asked if I would take him to UPenn, I'd always joke around and I would say, only if you take me to McDonald's afterwards. And he always did. It was even just a few months ago he asked me to take him, and I said, only to take me to McDonald's because it's the only time I eat McDonald's. In the midst of all these fun outings that Danny and I shared together, he always remained positive, but in reading the book I realized he lied, and he was extremely tight-lipped. Then we lost our dad, which was obviously a rough time on all of us. It was at that time that Sue came into our lives. I contacted Sue to contact Danny to let him know about my dad, and this is the first time I'd ever spoken to her, and although it was probably one of the, I can't imagine, I called Merrill Lynch and I said I need to talk to Sue in Ireland. What's her last name? I don't know. She knows my brother, and her name is Sue, and she works in Ireland. That's how my journey started with Sue. She called me back. She remained positive. She promised that she would get in contact with him and get him home, and she did. We lost him, and Sue came home, and we finally got to meet her in person, and I will never forget the limo ride. That I think it was just all of us kids. It was Sue, and it was Jenny, and we said, you know what, Jenny, you actually laid in bed with my mom last night, like you should be number one, but Sue actually has to deal with Danny, so So from the moment we met her, we knew there was something very special in her. I don't understand what she saw in Danny, but time went on, and we all grieved for our dad in our own way. I'm not going to say that I took it the hardest. I think we all took it hard for very many different reasons. But Danny stepped into the role as my dad. Always calling, always worrying, always asking if I needed money, always letting me complain about the kids and everything going on in life. It wasn't until I read his book that I didn't really understand what he was going through at that time. I felt so guilty. When he got worse, months later, I broke down in front of him in the hospital, and I begged for him to fight. I told him that I had already lost a very important man in my life, and I could not lose another one. He promised he would fight, and he did. One of the funniest moments that I have to tell you during this time, Mom, you might be mad. We were in the emergency room, and she asked the doctor if he could just put Danny under the blue light, like a baby, to make his jaundice go away. Danny, with being so patient as he is, and he took that very well. The comment was priceless, but his reaction was even more priceless, and so was the doctor's, actually. In continuing to fight, he held on for his new liver, and was blessed with it, just as Sue said, when I thought he might have given up, just as you said in your book. I thank God, and I pray for his donor's family often. They did lose somebody that day, but they gave me my brother. Sue has been Dan's rock, and she's helped him on his long journey to recover and during times of liver rejections. And as usual, she always remains calm, positive, and supportive, which we see at like Christmas time is not very easy. Dogs, kids, Christmas music, it all goes on in Dan's head. When Dan sent me the book, it wasn't yet in print. I printed it out from my computer, and I sat up nights with Shane, and I read it out loud to him. I wanted Shane to realize what I had grown up with, what Danny's story was. Every night I read to him, and I had tears streaming down my face. Danny and I talk almost daily, and it's usually about how the kids suck. Soccer is 7 days a week, and they talk back to me, and the dog peed. You know, Danny will come back with his comments, and there's a lot of times that I'm like, you know what, he has no idea. But these are things that I can deal with. These are things that I can change. These are messes that I can clean up. What Danny deals with every day is not something that he can change. It's not something that he can clean up. But he used this to make a very positive experience out of it. I gotta be honest, when you said you were gonna write a book, I'm like, all right, write a book. Let me know when it comes to be published.
There's plenty of copies.
And for that, I am so, so very proud of you. You made this an achievement, and you are my hero. It's a very special night for you. It's not a night that I hope any of us forget. I hope that we all read his book and we all are inspired by it, because I know I've read it and I'm inspired by it. And my kids can't wait to read it, which I wish you wouldn't have cursed so much, because they even say, well, didn't Uncle Danny curse in it? And I'm like, yeah, we might just have to black that out. Because I do think it's an inspiration for anyone and everyone, just about how important life is and how to keep fighting.